morning, Sheriff. Morning, Judge. Are we good to go, sir?
Yes, we are.
Good morning, it's 9 o'clock, June the 14th, 2021, and our regular Commissioners Court meeting is now in session. First item on the agenda is roll call by our County Clerk, Mary Jane Barrial, Celica Rodriguez, Assistant Clerk, please.
Yes. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good.
Judge Rathmel,
Present.
Commissioner Mendoza,
Present.
Commissioner Elizondo,
Present.
Commissioner Solis,
Present.
and Commissioner Garza.
Present.
Judge, we have a report.
Thank you. Next, would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 4, Communications Commissioners. We've had a busy 2 weeks, or 3 weeks from the last meeting. I think, of course, we had a pretty successful trip to Austin a few weeks ago, I guess. We had applied for some Texas Parks and Wildlife grants, and they were approved. That certainly make a difference in our community, I believe, and I think moving forward, I think it'll be a very good thing for our community. I think we've got Precinct 2 Commissioner, there's a Miraflores Park.
Yes, Miraflores Park, we're actually planning on building this, making this park at Miraflores. I think it's 20th and Miraflores. This is the second time, Judge, that we go, that actually apply for this grant, and thank God we got it for this year, so we're just gonna wait for the monies. We're planning on a walking trail, picnic area, so it'll be good for the Miraflores
Yes,
area, Judge.
absolutely. And I guess the other grant that we've been working on for a while now is, of course, the Savannah Golf Course. It's privately run currently, but the operators have discussed with the county the opportunity for the county to move forward with the purchase. Certainly, we didn't have the resources or funds to just take it on. We did apply for a substantial grant with Parks and Wildlife, $750,000 to help with the acquisition and some of the enhancement of the park. It's going to include trails for the public to enjoy. It's a 122-acre tract that will, I think, allow the county to expand the land that we currently have. We have utilized almost in town almost all of the available land space for the county, so this will give us more options in the future for the county as we continue to grow. We are working on the purchase price. We have some items to address that, but I think the Parks and Wildlife believing in the county's application and approving the $750,000 to the county is certainly something that is to make note of, and we appreciate Parks and Wildlife. So from here on out, we just need to make sure those grants are come to fruition, and we do well with them. I think Precinct 3, of course, will be in your precinct, Commissioner. So I believe you're a golfer also?
Yeah, trying to be.
Trying to be. Okay, I think everybody's trying to be a golfer, but certainly, I understand it can be a very frustrating game. I've never played it, but I think a lot of people enjoy it. I know our Winter Texans enjoy it. And also it's been a big part of our high school kids. That program has allowed many of our graduates, seniors from high school to go on to college with scholarships with the golf program. So that will allow it to continue. So I'm excited moving forward. We just need to work out on the details now and see how we can make it come true. Other communications commissioners, I did, and the sheriff was there also last week, attend a summit that Governor Abbott called concerning the border security crisis that's ongoing throughout the Rio Grande border. Certainly, there were sheriffs and representatives from I believe 34 counties there present. The governor, quite frankly, was very frustrated with the way things are moving. With the response of the federal government in taking on this crisis. He has declared 34 counties along the Rio Grande border with Mexico disaster areas. He is requesting cooperation from all the counties, officials and county governments to support this effort. And by issuing local disaster declarations, I have issued as of Friday a disaster declaration, which will be taken on by the court to see how long we can extend that disaster declaration. And this will allow us the ability to access funds from the federal government and from the state. Governor Abbott has allocated $1 billion for border security from the Texas state budget. And in order to access those funds, counties also have to declare local disaster areas, which I have done. It's only effective for 7 days. The court may extend it today for a longer period of time, and that will allow us to participate in the funding that the sheriff, I know, will have some things to say as far as the funding that may be available to mainly law enforcement departments, but to every department in the county to access. So, you know, unfortunately, it's here in Zapata, we are seeing, and speaking with the sheriff, and of course he can give us better details on that, but we are not seeing the overall numbers that other counties are seeing. Some of our neighbors to the north and south are seeing astronomical numbers, but we are seeing an increase in stash houses. You know, we have a lot of bailouts. There's been interceptions of drugs and ammunition, 50 caliber type ammunition the last few weeks. So there is a problem here in our community. I think it's important that we try to keep our residents safe. So this hopefully will allow some extra revenues and funds to help the sheriff's department do that.
Judge, can
Yes,
I just
yes,
give
sure.
you the numbers for this past month?
Yes, sure.
On the apprehensions that the Zapata County Sheriff's Office has had is 179 apprehensions, 6 weapons, and the assistance of the intercepting of the 600 rounds of 50 caliber in the San Ignacio area. I have numbers for Border Patrol, but I will address that when
Okay,
around call.
all right, okay, thank you, Sheriff.
And Judge, I think the expansion of the highway will actually be something that Zapata really needs, because they had a lot of chases, and being that it's just a one-way traffic, it's really
It's certainly, yeah,
dangerous,
it's
very
dangerous,
dangerous.
sure.
At this one time I was driving and there was like a chase, and it was like, where do you go to? And it's only just.
I think
so
that's the overall goal, yeah.
Yes,
right,
that's gonna be really good for Zapata also.
I think, speaking with, on that topic, I did speak with our district engineer last week, and he says that project, some of the projects, as a 4-lane expansion, will begin from the Starr County line, Zapata County line, moving north. So some of the projects will be let out or bidded out, by the end of this year, 2021. Another project will be let out 2022. North of Zapata, you're talking maybe 2025, 26, so by the time those projects are bidded out. But it is coming, so it's going to start, but it's going to start from the Starr County line going north. And those areas that already have some type of 4-lane highway, divided highway there in Falcón, and there's other, those of course will be allowed to remain the same. The only sections that will be transitioned to 4-lane are those that are currently two-way traffic. So that is coming. So certainly that's a big project that will be coming our way. Also, we discussed the need of more resources to our county. You know, we are short on materials. So those requests, Commissioner, will be ongoing official requests, but I did talk to him about the need for materials to the precincts as far as any surplus materials coming forward. He did mention also that there's a project for the 3169 roadway that will be upgraded. Certainly there's, with some of the heavy traffic the last few months, it has, especially the shoulders, have deteriorated, and they will be working on that. But I think that's more or less for the project he told me that we had in store in the coming months for Zapata.
I know that they do keep up with it, they try to patch it, but like you say, it's pretty bad, but.
Yes, it is.
They're gonna resurface, I think, Richard?
Resurface 3169, yes. Also, I spoke to him about There was rumors or talk about maybe the yard here, the TxDOT yard here on the north end of town being shut down, and all the operations moved to Starr County. He said that that yard will stay open for TxDOT to store their equipment and materials as it currently is. The only difference will be, I think there's 2 employees that reside here in Zapata County. They will be now have to, I guess, punch in or get their time clocked in at the Starr County office instead of here in Zapata. And he mainly addressed that it was a safety issue. He wanted those employees here from Zapata to take part in the planning meetings before the day's work would start. So that will be a change, though. I think initially, currently, they were allowing to clock here in Zapata and then move to the job sites, but now they will have to. So that will be a change.
I think the only thing that we probably need to tell Judge, I know that like 2 weeks ago, somebody ran over a stop sign from the highway, and I called them, and it took them like, I guess like 3 to 4 hours to actually come and put a temporary one. Maybe it's something that they could probably leave in their yard where we can go pick up a temporary sign.
There might be things that we can do together, yes. I know we.
Because I know that sometimes
We don't see a whole lot of presence from TxDOT here, unfortunately. I know for years we've had to maintain the state highway right of ways.
That's what we're doing right now.
Which I think is really their responsibility.
Sure.
So I wish they would have more presence here in Zapata. Maybe one day we'll see that, but for as long as I can remember, that burden has fallen on the county to do.
Like
We,
the
yes.
entrance of the highways also, Judge, we're always trying to fix it. I do call them first because I asked permission to fix the, what is it called, like the right of ways or the easement?
Intersection.
Yeah, so I asked for permission that we're gonna fix it, but it's actually, like you say, it's their
Their
responsibility, but maybe they can give us some material to where we can help them out, work together, and
Sure.
that way we use our material to fix it.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, we have done some, especially with the mowing of the right of ways here in town. I think it's, I mean, if we don't do it, then I think it'll be difficult for, I guess, to maintain I mean, y'all do a good job, keep the grass short, keep it nice, mowed.
And especially Highway 16, it's very much used by the runners
Yes.
from school. They do a lot of their running on Highway 16, so it is important for us to be able to maintain it, but.
Yeah, their daily maintenance is all.
Yeah.
Certainly, we can continue talking to them on that. Any other communications, Commissioners? If not, we'll move on to public comment. This section provides the public the opportunity to address the Commissioners' Court on any items on the agenda. Well, Danny, I forgot. Danny, I'm sorry. We'll go back to communications, our fire chief. We still have a COVID crisis here, and it's, well, I guess we move forward from the crisis, but we still have some of the things going on with vaccinations, and I appreciate your efforts on this, Dan.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I'll keep it short. I really don't have much to report, which is a good thing. It's been drastically slowing down as far as vaccination goes and testing numbers. I want to start off first of all with, most of you all know by now already that we lost Mr. Jose Alejandro on the 5th of this month. He was working in West Laco and he suffered a heart attack. So he unfortunately did not make it.
With Tia?
Yes. He was our
area coordinator,
Yeah,
yes.
area coordinator, Mr. Alejandro, yeah, he passed away on the 5th. Yes, and like I was mentioning, we're still doing testing. Testing for this week is again Wednesday and Thursday, the 16th and the 17th. And we're continuing with vaccinations at the fire department, Monday through Friday, 9 to 3. It's been going slow, but we're still getting a lot of first doses. We started like 3 weeks ago, and we've done almost 100 in 3 weeks. This last week we did 20 to be exact, this last week. Like I mentioned, it did slow down a lot, but we're still having people come down and get vaccinated, especially the first doses. But that's all I have for you all today. Like I mentioned, it's kind of slow on our end, which is a good thing, unless you all have any questions for me.
Chief, just thank you for everything you guys do. I mean,
Oh,
you
yes,
look
ma'am.
tired, Chief,
Yes.
but I mean, I
No,
know
it's
because you're doing your job.
It's a
and-
joint effort, you know, it's,
Yeah,
everybody's
appreciate
involved, you
everything
know,
you're
even
doing.
my guys at the fire department, sheriff's office, you know, you all as commissioners, the judge, you know, it's a joint effort. but I believe everybody's been doing great, and just continue going forward and keeping up with the good work, and we'll be good.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Dan.
All right,
Thank you, Chief.
Along
Do you
those
have the
lines-
numbers for?
Yeah, I do have some stats, Commissioners. So far, since the pandemic began and the testing began, we conducted 17,085 tests. And out of those, 1,587 have come back positive. 15,498 have come back negative. There are no pending tests. We've had unfortunately 36 deaths since the pandemic began. Of the vaccination percentages, those 12 and over with one dose, we're at 64.39%. Fully vaccinated, 12 years of age plus, is at 53.90%. The 65 and over age group, one dose, 82%, 82.10, and fully vaccinated, 73.47. I think, looking at comparisons and around the state, South Texas has done really well as far as the vaccination efforts. We've fallen a little behind our neighboring counties of Webb and Starr, but I think that the overall goal, from what my understanding of is to realize herd immunity is 70%, Commissioners, at least with one dose. We're about 5.5 points, and then so we've got a little bit of work to do to completely tackle this crisis. I think this week there was three positives in our community, so the virus is still around. I mean, there's vaccine available for everyone, readily available, so there's really no excuse not to get vaccinated if you want to get vaccinated. I know initially it was very difficult for the public to get, vaccinated, but that's not the issue anymore. Now it's just a matter of choice of whether you want it or not. But I think we're close to the 70% herd immunity percentage. If we can get to that, I think everyone will be a lot safer. Yeah. Public comment, any public comment in the community? If not, we'll move on to item number 6, the approval of invoices. And we had invoices in the packet. From May 21st, 2021 through June 10th, 2021, for a total of $1,371,015.58.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Garza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 7 is approval of treasurer's report. Morning, Mr. Salinas.
Morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Morning, Chris.
We went ahead and passed out the treasurer's report, and if you turn to page number 1, that shows the investments at Zapata National Bank, and they total $8,284,000, and the interest earned for the month was $2,426.73. And the following couple of pages are just the breakdown of the maturity. I usually keep it for 90 days, and they renew automatically. And as we need any of that money to be transferred to the regular checking accounts, we can do that without any help. Page number 5 shows our checking accounts, and as you can see, the operating consolidated account that we opened, we're going to start closing all of these accounts, and it's all going to be run out of just one account. We have a beginning balance of $1,278,843.72. We ran deposits of $1,182,737.56, but we expensed out of there for the month $2,091,119.56. At the end of the month, when we reconcile the account, we have $1,278,843.72. I didn't have a chance to check the balance at the bank this morning, but that's at the end of the month. I'm sure that it's less than $1 million this morning.
I would think so. I'm checking the arithmetic just offhand. I'm just saying that 1.2 plus 1.1 is 2.3, and we spent 2.1. We have $200,000 left.
Right.
So,
No, but we ran the,
see, it says revenues
Right.
of 1.182 million,
right,
and then expenses of 2.91 million. So at the ending balance should be around the $200,000 range, not the
Exactly.
1.2.
right. Those are, the balances. The other one that I want to point out is the waterworks. We had a beginning balance of 192,183, and then we deposited 142,000 throughout the month. And then we only expensed out 8,428. So we haven't gone in there to take out the expenses for the month. So, we had an ending balance of 326,545 at the end of the reconcilement at the end of the month. The next page shows the checking accounts held by their elected offices, and those total 2,109,351.72. There were deposits recorded for 526,384.83, and expense out there 776,82.72. Doing an ending balance for all those checking accounts, 1,856,653.83. Page 7 shows all the checks that were issued out of the different funds, and those total 1,206,534.55. And year to date, we've issued a total amount of 7,518,667.69. And page number 8 shows the total checks issued for 1,528,892.60. Out of the general fund, we issued 1,206,534.55. Page 9 shows our electricity bill for the month of May, came in at 63,907.43, and our water bill came in at 11,886.62. And then you have the running total at the bottom, for this fiscal year. The electricity, 331,931, and the water totaling 93,677.97. Page number 10 shows our total, core energy deposit. I didn't have time on Friday when I saw the report and we were finalizing it. I'd like to point out for the month of May, we got a deposit. We looked at the statement and it did show that it came from Hillport. So, we're gonna be calling them today.
Well, I think what
I
happened
don't know,
was,
since
this is from the freeze, the cold weather that we had.
Okay.
The price of natural gas during that week, 3 or 4 day period, went up about 400%.
Oh, wow.
So, yes, so for those 4 days, that's what this is.
So I wanted to give the court an explanation. I said, I've got to verify this number because we key in all the amounts. And as you can see, the prior month, we got a deposit for 6,000, and for the month of May, I got 18,000.
Since a lot of the lines were frozen upstate and throughout the nation, there was a lot of demand for natural gas that was available. So for those 4 days, the price of natural gas went, I mean, it's usually $2.50 per cubic foot. It went up to maybe $100 or $200. So those were, for those 4 days.
$130.
Yes, that's what happened.
We need to have a freeze year round.
Then I will call them.
Well, I'm not sure
No, don't
exactly
call
what
them.
the price was, but there was a 300 or 400% increase on the price for those for that week. So that's what that is, that's the result of that.
Okay, well, the deposit we got for the month of May was 18,973.03 compared to the prior month of April, which was 6,000. It had been either 4, 5, 6,000 a month. So
Yes.
I,
It was 3 times as much.
right, so that's
Significant.
So, that'll give me a phone call, I have to go through a lot of people to
Yes.
get an answer. But here today, we've, received, 56,795.07 from Hillcorp Energy for those, gas flows that we have belonging to the county. So year to date, percentage collected, we've gone over the 100% that we projected, getting 49,000 to
So
the
that's
fiscal year.
Sure.
So we're at 115.91%. Page number 11 shows the, rental revenue. As you can see, it's all zeros except for the community, center, for the month of April. We only had that, collection of 1,200, nothing for May in any of our centers. Page number 12 shows the, revenues collected by our county clerk in Fund 10. For the month of May, we got a deposit for 6,451.75. Into Fund 15, 4,191. Our district clerk, 2,958.80 into Fund 10, and into Fund $247.75. And our sales tax came in at $217,432.66. So from our sales tax year to date, we've collected $1,636,461.27. So we're at 81.82% collection rate there.
Maybe we get an increase from the fire department also.
Yes, that's good. And I guess, well, I guess the renewal period for the ordinance, our ordinance will be this July 1st.
July 1st, so, yes, we're hoping that we collect that money, and that's a separate report that I passed out, Judge.
Okay.
That I'll go over when I finish my first
Or
report.
this, 250 Mr. Salinas on the arm ordinance, are those new establishments, or?
Yes, those are new that have,
And are they-
we'll explain to them that the renewal has to be paid
Again.
in July.
Okay, so there is no grace period.
No. So, the amount that we have collected there for the, under the arms has been $253,000, but as you can see, it's, during different months.
Right.
And, but they're okay, you know,
It's not prorated, they'll have to pay them in.
No, we don't prorate anything, so, they know that they have to pay, a renewal time, which we're extending it to July 1st. Page 13, our landfill, deposited for the month of May, 29,108. Our jail revenues, 161,422.42. Jail bonds, 480. Jail office fees, 170. EMS department, 65,056.60. Our landfill are at 100% .03, in the, collection, year-to-date percentage, because we had budgeted 238,500. Our jail, we're up to 42% and 42.27, and the jail telephone, 45.51%. And our jail office fees are at 86.07%, and our EMS department is at 51.91%, and we have, 4 more months to go
Yes.
to finish the fiscal year. So those, percentages have been increasing. Page number 11 shows the collections for JP number 1. For the month of May, 19,853.44 from JP 1. JP precinct number 2, 26,697.19. JP number 3, 984.18. JP precinct 4, 22,172.49. That includes collections from April month, because they came in after the end of the month. Year to date, JP number 1 has collected 228,242.98. JP number 2 has collected 169,447.60. JP number 3, 64,300.92. And JP precinct number 4 has collected 65,575.90. The few pages following that, Judge and Commissioners, still time-paying by the Water Works Department. That's for your monthly review on that, so you can see what's been spent on overtime. The other page that I handed out this morning, Ms. Zapata and myself sat down on Friday, and I told her, I think for it, 150, that we need to give the commissioners for a notice of our projections. So these are just my office. And we sat down, and these are our projections for June through September, to end the fiscal year. So we went and looked at the sales tax, we took an average, so we're projecting that we'll get another 500,000 to the end of the fiscal year. Our tax office, another 600,000. The arms, as you can see there, Commissioner, 800,000, which is what we had, you know.
Budgeted, yeah.
Yeah, budgeted, because they paid in July.
That's what they paid, yes. Well, that's what, registered or signed up last year, so.
Last year, so hopefully,
Well, it should be over $1 million if what you had in the report, renewals as well, in addition to this, it should be
right.
over $1 million.
These are just our, projections that.
I think they're pretty good approximations.
Yeah. So we sat down, we said, okay, arms, but the renewal comes up in July 1st, so hopefully we'll get 800,000. And then our sheriff's department, looking at the amounts that are coming in, hopefully they'll increase. That's another 600,000 we're projecting. Fire department with, looking at just the last month, that came in another 240,000. The landfill, another 120,000 for June, July, August, and September. Miscellaneous, we included another 100,000, which is what's collected by our county clerk and district clerk. And then the waterworks department in another 800,000. So we said, okay, we're looking at maybe receiving 3,760,000. But then we look at the expense side of the balance sheet and we just took the payroll. We have 8 payrolls left for this fiscal year. And we rounded it off just to $500,000 every payroll. So that's 4 million to end the fiscal year. The departmental expenses, the way but every time I present checks for approval every 2 weeks, it includes the department expenses. So we take out payroll and we said, okay, we keep spending and we're not freezing any expenditures. We're gonna be spending another 1,600,000. And then the, August payment, bond payments, that's another $500,000. A lot of big payments in February for bond payments.
Right.
So we're looking at projected expenses of $6,100,000. You may question yourself, why is there such a big difference? To begin with, we started off the fiscal year with a $2 million deficit. So when the budget was approved, right off the start of this fiscal year, we spend it,
Well, we approved a budget that didn't match up with the revenues.
Right.
So we approved a budget that was $2 million, likely lower than what we were gonna spend.
Right,
in
and the way
revenues.
that the budget is made, everybody spends every minute. That's why, every penny, I'm sorry, and I keep telling the auditor, hopefully that one of these days we can put our foot down and just freeze all expenditures and just make necessary
I
expenses.
think it's certainly, it's concerning, something that I
So,
understand.
it's concerning for my office, and I just wanna bring up the numbers, just so we won't start pointing fingers to anybody, but, as you can see, the difference in that our projections of, revenues for the next, 4 months, and looking at the expenses for the next 4 months to end this fiscal year, we would be at a deficit of 2,340,000. And then we have some agenda items with high numbers. If we approve a couple of those, the deficit goes up to 2,532,700. And then there's another high ticket item there. If approved, the deficit will go up to 3,085,104.44. So that's just numbers that I have to present to the court and for y'all to take a look at. That's in my report.
Well, that 3 million, of course, catches your attention because
Yes.
we basically have $3 million of free money to spend in our fund balance.
Yeah,
That's,
exactly.
so we would completely wipe out our
Our reserve.
yes.
Our reserve, I know that, it's a deficit that will be reported at the end of the budget year. And I have the money that I saved 18 years at the bank, which I would take those 3 million and not be in the red of the bank, but we're gonna be at 0 fund balance. for
Yeah,
this.
of course, if these expenditures are not brought down.
But anyway, that's in my
Judge,
report.
motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Garza. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is approval of checks issued, and we have checks from 5/21/2021 through 6/10/2021 for a total of
Motion moved.
$1,371,015.58.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Garza, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 9 is we have the tax assessor collectors departmental report. Our tax collector, Ms. Mendoza. Morning, Debbie.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
Corrections for the month of May. Okay, for the general fund, we had 148,906.80. For the interest and sinking fund, we had a total of 59,180.07. On the market, we had 27.59. Special road and bridge, we had a collection of 15,764.68. Amount paid out to delinquent attorneys was 17,061.52. total collections for taxes was $240,940.66. Fees and other collections, alcoholic beverage, we had $60, tax certificates, 12, hotel motel, 9,473.09. Copies and faxes, $60, interest earnings, 19.36, for a total of 9,624.45. For a total of all collections, 250,565.11. Collection rate was 86.86 compared to last year, 83.10. And, hotel motel, we had a total from, October first to right now, to May 31st, I'm sorry, 84,146.32.
Thank you, Mr.
Any
Mendoza.
questions?
Well, we, hopefully approve the budget at maybe a 90% collection rate, 92, so we're gonna be very close to that, this year with 4 months to go. Thank you,
And hopefully we can get it at least up.
and I guess our hotel motel fund looks good too, moving forward, 4 months to go, and I believe we budgeted 100,000, and we're really, I think we should be making that, very easily.
Right. I would like to bring something up to Commissioners Court. I would like to request that Commissioners Court go out for, proposals for the delinquent tax attorneys. They've been there more than 30 years. I think that they have not, for the past maybe 10 years, have not really performed their job. They're lacking on, their mineral tax warrants. We've lost a lot of money in collections. Because of that, we also have, on the personal property accounts, nothing gets done on those, and of course, they have told me that it's because of the, they're training somebody to do it.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's not, so,
It's up to Clark.
it's, when are they gonna get it done? It's already been a long time.
Well, I believe we're currently on an annual renewal
Right.
with,
Is our contact collectors are, like I said, for many years has been Limewater.
yeah.
I did visit with them, I guess, maybe last week before last. And they did bring some, reporting, what the collections they've had, for this year, and certainly they're doing well as far as delinquent taxes.
Exactly.
They've done over $1 million, but I'll let them explain and justify, what they're doing or not doing. I think, certainly place an item on the agenda, and then we'll see, but I can, I noticed from your report that you're not happy with them, so.
No.
We'll just have to see where we're at and see how we can move forward.
And it's not because of anything, and I know that, this new attorney, Jaime Gonzalez, he's very nice, he's very young, he sounded very energetic, but, you know, he said, I visited with him during the conference, he was out there, and he told me that he wanted to work with us, and that, you know, he wanted to make things go well, and I go, well, that's fine, but, what are you doing about the mineral tax warrants? I mean, there's no more money coming in from the
How much
wells.
money is outstanding with those on the mineral tax warrants?
About 2 million, just on the minerals, there's 2 million, there's about another 500,000 in, personal property.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. And so, he wanted to bring in, or to have some sort of a meeting with the attorneys up in Austin, but that still defeats the purpose. I mean, we can have a meeting all day long, but if they don't bring anybody down, because apparently they don't have somebody that's doing it. So if they don't bring anybody down, how are we going to, if they don't get somebody to start working on them right now, when are we ever gonna collect it? We're not gonna collect it.
We'll look at it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Mendoza.
Moving on to reports and presentations, item number 10 is a presentation of retirement plaques, for the May and June retirees. Mr. Trevino, good morning, Nelly. We lost some good folks.
Yes, good morning, Judge. I know I only see one member, retiree who retired from our library, Ms. Florence Chambers.
Yes.
She retired, last month at the end of May, so she gave us, I believe it was 10 and a half years with the
Yes.
county. So, we have a plaque.
Well, I see Ms. Flo in the audience. I certainly want to thank, we've had long conversations, Ms. Flo, about you staying on a little longer and you wanting to spend more time with your grandkids and the choices, but that library is certainly going to be much different without you there, and I know all your fellow employees loved working with you, and all the residents that attend the library are certainly going to miss your warm smile and your willingness to help them in any aspect. We thank you for your service.
Thank y'all. Y'all, every one of y'all have touched my lives, every one of you, even out here, so appreciate all of it. I do. I hate to retire, but I need to. I'm 71.
I know. It's time. We'll take a picture with you. Yes.
I would love that for my book.
Yeah. Picture. Thank you, Bill. Good luck. The other retiree was,
Is Ms. Gonzalez, Rosie.
oh, Rosie, yes, Rosie, of course, the nutrition center. How many years of service?
She gave us 20 years of service.
20 years. Rosie, certainly gonna miss her phone calls. We exchanged quite a few words over the years. So, but we wish her well. She was, her staff loved her. Her participants, of course, the nutrition center deals with a lot of different types of opinions and daily attitudes and some good, most of them really good, but she did very well for 20 years with us. And she also told me that she was debating whether she should retire or not, but in the end, I think her love of her grandkids and I guess the urging of her kids pushed her over the edge and said, you know what, it's time to retire. So we respect Rosie for all her years of service and we thank her. And we'll present that plaque to her. We'll get it to her when we get it. Okay. Yes. We'll move on to the action items. We will deliberate and consider action on item number 11 is to hire Rebecca Gutierrez on slot number 2 at the Zapata County Public Library.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Solis. Any discussion? Just Becky's here with us. Becky, of course, Becky was started part-time there during the COVID crisis with Judge Guerra. Did an outstanding job for her office, as we can see, and the revenues that have come into JP1. And when Ms. Flo informed us that she was planning on retirement, Ms. Navarro, our head librarian, asked if we could place someone there for Flo to train and guide her for the day when Flo would no longer be there. So Becky took on the assignment, and now I can see that you've done an outstanding job for that department, for Judge Guerra, who misses you tremendously. And now you will do the same at the library. So Becky, good luck, and glad to have you on board.
Welcome aboard, Becky.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item number 12 is to issue a disaster declaration and declare a state of emergency in Zapata County due to the human trafficking on the border with Mexico.
Judge, I'll make a motion that we approve the
Second.
declaration to coincide with the state's declaration.
I think that would be very well. Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Garza. Any discussion? Sheriff, I think you spoke a little while ago. Anything else you'd like to add to this declaration?
Where we're at right now, Judge, is working alongside with the other agencies. The apprehensions are going up and the vehicle chases and all that is happening and damaging to our ranchers, the fence lines and all that. Right now, the increase in apprehensions has gone up by 81.9% from last year. Turnbacks, which means when we set up checkpoints, has gone up by 8.6%. And rescues has gone up as well. Also, increase in smuggling cases has gone up 21.3%. The reason one thing that I've addressed with my patrol guys is for the safety and security of the people is during the chases. When it gets too extreme, you know, we're calling off chases and we're asking for air support from BP and DPS. Because we don't wanna end up in a crash or involving innocent lives getting lost because of the crisis that is happening. We are fighting hand in hand with the governor to get as much monies that we can for the county. That way the whole county as a whole, and we're together here in the front line.
Yes, and so with this declaration, it allows to open our ability to access state and federal funds. I don't know if there's gonna be any federal funds available, but this, Governor Abbott has allocated $1 billion for border security. So
That is correct, from vehicles to ranch materials where different precincts, line items for different precincts in different areas that we can fix. The new addition of jail space for both jails, that the state will pick up the bill, and as well as prisoner transport. They're in need of a lot of transportation, and I think that'd be an asset to bringing in revenue for our county as well.
So what the governor proposes to do, and what if I understood correctly at the summit, was that any illegal coming into Texas will be charged with trespassing?
Yes, that is correct. He's involving from the county attorney to the district attorney to the JPs in trying to make the fine and the punishment stiffer on the.
Because of the disaster declaration, Counselor, that I'm sure you're aware that they're asking for jail time, and of course, that will create the problem for jail space. And in our community, I think we're almost at capacity.
Yes.
So certainly will create some I guess some issues as far as being able to hold those prisoners with those charges.
On our face-to-face meeting, Judge, he's looking at allocating over 10,000 beds, additional beds, for jails that are already opened and in compliance.
Okay, and then he will be making additional funding available to enlarge our current jails. And of course, this will take some time, but immediately he wants to start on the
I did receive an email yesterday. He needs a proposed budget within a week and a half for our face-to-face meeting again. So I'll be talking to each of the commissioners as well, and to the county attorney and district attorney and yourself as well, so we can generate a proposed budget for the first 2 weeks.
Sheriff, and some of the items that you put on the agenda for discussion today, can some of those be included in that budget proposal presented to the governor?
As of right now, hopefully they can, but he does not know. It would be like the source of reimbursement, because he wants to act now. And he mentioned to us that we need to already put in for this equipment, because all of this equipment, so much of it is backlogged. So it will alleviate the pressure on the county, as long as all these bids and all these POs say are in effect, because during the declaration, the disaster declaration. Thank you.
Okay, so
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Salinas, our facilities are paid off completely, or we're still?
the jail is paid off, yes.
So that would be something we need to look at, Judge, so we can expand both areas.
Yes, as these funds become available and as we get more information, then I guess we can move on forward with that.
Okay.
I think initially in your budgets, you will have, asked for additional funds to do expansion, so, certainly, I think, speaking with contractors who are in that business, I think to get some accurate numbers would certainly be helpful, and there you can include in your budget.
Okay.
Do we have a timeline or an idea on a timeline on how fast those reimbursements will come into the county government, or?
He signed off on the order for $1 billion already allocated for the proposed budget. So,
Yeah, and he was pretty adamant, even though he had declared 34 county disaster areas, as of last week's meeting, last week's summit, only 17 have actually declared local disasters. So he was adamant about, he wants the counties to cooperate. So I'm not sure if we didn't do this disaster declaration, it would be available for the funding. So it goes hand in hand. He wants, because the question was asked whether, I mean, you've already declared the disaster for at least 34 counties. Do we need to take that extra step? And he said, yes, you need to take the extra step, what we're doing today, that will, get our ability to access these funds.
and that also includes, Mr. Mendoza, the towers, additional towers for communication, both locally and state and federal. And that's one of the problems that we have right now is the tower here by the regional jail. So I addressed that, face to face with him, and that's one of the things he'll concentrate as well immediately. So we can be up to date in software and in communication.
I think definitely we should take full advantage of the opportunity. Any justifiable expenses that can be included should definitely be.
I believe so. The sheriff, showed me some videos of his officers that are engaging in pursuits, very dangerous. He showed me one where, very brave deputy, they're all brave, but this deputy, local deputy, by himself, it was a chase, and they just, bailed out, and he had maybe 20 people running out of the vehicle, jumping out, and those are very dangerous. And what I'm not afraid, but what concerns me is that our fleet of vehicles is not up to par. I want us, our sheriff's department have the best, best vehicles available. So I asked the sheriff, let's place these orders, we're gonna need them, because even before the summit, we are gonna need some vehicles to replace the aging fleet that we have. I wanna make sure officers have good equipment.
And one thing that was also addressed by the governor was, we will get marine and patrol out on the lake and the river. I was real concerned and adamant about that, because the rescues, whether it's our local citizens or people from out of town, we do need somebody from our office out there at all.
Yeah, I think 24/7, I spoke with the new district, not the district chief, but the station chief. And he's currently 24/7, the Border Patrol has the only boat that's out there full-time. Of course, Parks and Wildlife is out there significantly, but he has the only, marine unit working constantly, and he says he needs additional resources. I believe DPS is also in the process
Yes.
of bringing in a marine unit to Falcon, so that would certainly help. But I think if the sheriff thinks that a marine unit would help us, I think it will. More resources on the water.
One more thing, Judge, and I have talked to Chief Arriaga, is unifying our comms to have one set dispatch center and one set emergency center, where myself and him, we can communicate and have our dispatchers there working hand in hand. That way we don't lose time to save a precious life from our community. And I think it's going good. Our conversations are headed in the right direction, and that was another thing I asked the governor for
Are they
our
using
dispatch center.
separate frequencies right now?
Yes.
Between the two?
Mhm.
Sheriff, and that's good that you're saying that, because I know that some of the county roads that are in precinct 2 area, I've had some calls of, people that live on those ranchettes out there, that sometimes they call 911 and they're not sure where their location is at. That would be something that, just to familiarize with the area.
Yes.
The county roads in case of an emergency.
That's going along with the project that we're gonna
That's good.
utilize here with the ranch owners, which every ranch will have an ID and a separate tag, which will come out on the screen automatically. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We got a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries, so our disaster declaration will coincide with the governor's declaration. As far as time, that's okay, Counselor?
Yes.
That'd be fine? Because I had 7 days, I signed it off, I only had 7 days, and then the court, but it kind of coincided, the court can, extend it for as long as we want, so I think it's all right.
That's right, Judge. This is part of the showing our commitment to this issue, Judge. Of course, now it's the state's turn to assist us with the funding, Judge.
Yes, because a small county like us, we don't have the resources to involve in something like this without the help.
Absolutely, Judge.
All right, moving on, item number 13 is to approve the payment to Net Data. Commissioners, Treasurer Mr. Salinas brought me this invoice that basically we're on a collection with Net Data.
Well, Judge, I looked into it and I looked into the contract, and on number 11 on page 4 of the contract, we do owe $24,000 for this year and then $24,000 for next year. And I looked in, we didn't have any money budgeted for this. I looked into last year, how we did it last year, and last year we took more or less about half from technology fund, which we have about $53,000 in there right now, and then the other half from a line item that we had funds for it. This year we didn't put any, we didn't budget any money for it, so I don't know if y'all wanna handle it like that again.
48,000 is what we owe?
24.
I think, yeah, we need to pay out the consulting fees. They're basically our consultants to collect.
Okay.
Because all those monies end up in Road and Bridge.
Well, we have, money in the technology fund.
We had a line item for it specifically last year, which we had funds for it, but this year, for this coming year, we budgeted 0. So we do have a line item that specifically says, Net Data, so we can take it out of there, it's just gonna go over.
So I'll make a motion that we approve
I'll second
payment
the
to
motion.
Net Data for $24,000 out of their.
It's 43.
43?
That's why I just asked him.
It's
I
43.
didn't bring a copy with me, but I think it was in the 40. Oh, yeah, I think it.
It's 43,000. Well, we
Oh,
owe.
okay.
Okay.
I was just seeing part of it, the part that, the annual maintenance
So we
one.
owe 2 years or what?
It's
No, I think the other-
43,000. I saw the email. I don't have it with me, but it's $43,000.
Okay.
Well, I'll modify my motion just to reflect whatever balance is due.
Judge, if you have to declare where it's coming from, because he's already telling you.
Well, we've got the line item.
Yeah,
Okay,
we had a
yeah,
line
you said
item.
there's no
Yeah.
money in there.
So we need to approve it from our fund balance out of that line item. We need to,
Okay.
Yes.
So if I modify my motion to reflect that.
Okay.
to pay off the balance.
To pay off the balance out of their designated line item. Yes.
And the reason I brought it to the judge's attention, it's a big amount, and they're gonna be charging us like a 20.
Oh, there's interest, yeah.
24% interest rate. So-
Well,
And we certainly want to pay our bills.
Well,
Yeah.
and they're doing a really good job for us as far as collection.
Right.
I don't like being delinquent, and I get the calls from any department that may be past due on their bill, cause I pay the bills, but I tell them it's that department that needs to process the payment.
So whose responsibility is it to pay out that bill when it runs?
It was, I think, two departments, cause it's
Well-
the data and.
What happened, I'm not sure about the 24,000, we had received like 3 different ones, and it didn't sound right, so that's why I was doing some research on it.
Commissioner, that collect the,
Yeah,
Those
we
big
were
numbers
now in the collection phase of it,
Yeah.
that we were being hounded by collection.
Well, I just wanna make sure that we pay it on time next
Yeah.
year, and I don't want, I don't want for us to fall into delinquency.
like I told the lady, I mean, she keeps calling and I said, call the different JPs. They need to process it, take it to the auditors, there's a process. I mean, you call me, I can make phone calls, I can forward the emails. And that's something I'd like for the county to be placed on a delinquent status or having past due bills, so I try to make phone calls to the department and try to get that taken care of.
I've been talking back and forth, there were some issues on how much they were charging us. So in looking into, we've been paying, but we had issues on, and the reason we're going to collection, because they're paying what we owed like these past couple of months. There was the issues on the ones from maybe like 3-4 months ago. That's where the issue is. So,
Let's see if we can avoid that
Yeah.
happening next year, and we need to pay our bills on time.
it's just a matter of paying what we owe and not paying more.
I think, well, like I say, they've done a good job of bringing in the collection.
Definitely, we haven't seen numbers like that before.
And it's 24 per year, Judge, or just lump sum?
It's a percentage of the collection.
I see.
There's two different charges. There's a $24,000 a year maintenance.
Yeah.
And then there's a monthly for each JP. The 24,000 includes all four of them.
I see. Based on
For
collection.
software maintenance, and then each JP brings in,
Whatever.
and there's a percentage. We already collected the money, so we're paying them the
But I
percentage
think
that's
this
owed
is
to
from
them.
what their collections, I mean, it's not the maintenance fees, I think this is from their percentage from the collections that they're bringing
Okay.
in. 'Cause, of course,
It's
they
money
provided the
that's
software to us, which is, each JP is $6,000.
Right.
But then they're collecting $500,000 a year in delinquent fines for us, they want a percentage of that too. And so that's, I think this 43,000 is from,
So then that's how they're tacking on the penalty.
Yeah.
Because it's money
they've already brought into the county, and we haven't,
We were
provided
collecting.
them their, percentage.
Their percentage, okay, yeah.
They
Yeah, we
did
didn't say on
submit,
top of
they
it.
did
Yeah.
submit a copy of the contract, and that was in my mind, they are charging a pretty high percentage, but it's on a contract.
It's on a
Right,
contract.
well, and they
So-
can request that in cases where they've actually already earned the money.
Yes,
And because it's their collection, it's their percentage of the collection. So that's why when you said, that they're tacking on these heavy penalties, well, you know, the penalties.
Because we're late, we're late on our agreement to pay them on a timely basis, their percentage.
Breach
Yeah.
of contract.
Yeah. And it is high, I mean, the program, apparently is working well, I'm sure the JPs are doing well because of the collection revenues show. And also, those monies, I think there was $2 million a few years ago that were deemed uncollectible. Out of those 2 million, I think they've already knocked half of it down, so we've collected about $1 million for us that we had basically deemed uncollectible.
That's good.
Yeah.
And ironically, it was Linebarger who was doing the collections for us before, on those fines and fees that had deemed them uncollectible.
Yeah, we hadn't seen any collections, until, well, 2 years, this is the second year. Did we approve it?
Yeah.
We
okay.
have a motion by
finished.
Mendoza, the second.
Okay, and all those in favor say aye? We approved it, I believe.
Got it.
No, I don't have the second.
We don't have a
I have a
second.
second, the motion.
I'm sorry, I got it to the conversation part of it. You got it?
Yes.
Okay. Move on, item number 14 is to approve a proposal from SCS Engineers for geotechnical soil testing at the proposed San Ignacio landfill expansion site. Commissioners, on this item, I asked, of course, we've talked about, our landfill has a few, maybe 5 to 10 years left of usable space there. We've talked about acquiring some lands adjacent to the landfill. I've spoken with the owners about the possibility of that. We haven't brought a contract to, an earnest money contract with them. We don't have one in place. We are gonna need some geotechnical soil testing to make sure that the site is adequate for the landfill. I don't wanna enter into a contract and then it be not suitable for our needs. I don't know if the owners will allow us to do this before a contract is in place.
And speaking, and I have a contract that we put together, and I took it
So
to.
I'm just saying, we may be a little early with this item, but,
Okay, but have they?
they've agreed
Okay.
they're interested in selling a tract of land to us that is immediately adjacent to our current landfill, which would be.
And this is a requirement of the state that we do the.
Well, I think it'd be, something good for us to do to make sure that that land would be suitable.
Suitable.
I think we'll spend a bunch of money.
And according to the engineers, that Mr. Guillermo, Mr. Science is in contact with, the state's gonna be asking for those type of tests anyway.
It's a proactive measure.
But
Yes.
we just need permission from the owners, because we don't have
Correct.
anything in place yet.
Correct.
And I haven't talked to them to see if they would allow us to do that before a contract is in place.
Well, in talk, I spoke with him last week, and he was kinda wanting a contract before we were gonna
I
do
think
it.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we may, table this, commissioners, until we have a contract in place. And then as part of the terms of the earnest money contract, if we
Right,
do.
that it's subject to it getting approved, or getting a positive result.
Exactly, I think that'd be the best way to handle this, so, motion to table, Commissioner.
Okay, I return my motion.
Is there any other requirements that we have to have, is that way we can have those caveats?
There'll be a bunch.
The earnest
I
money
think
agreement.
initially, Martin, any other?
No, sir.
Just make sure that, I guess the main purpose for this testing is that there's not any good groundwater that would be on the site.
Right, that
So
would make sense.
there wasn't any immediately, adjacent to the current landfill, there was some brackish water. And how deep do they drill the well, do you know?
About 150, 100 feet.
150 feet, so it's a shallow test, but we wanna make sure that, once we buy it, it's good to go.
And the fee for this service, Judge, was $19,400.
Yes, because the drilling dust is expensive. So we'll table it, motion to table by Commissioner Garza, second by Commissioner Mendoza. All those in favor say aye. Motion table. We'll bring back once we have more, a contract in place. Item number 15 is to approve a service agreement with Texas Association of Counties, County Information Resources Agency, Sierra, for standard website package for the Zapata County website.
Motion move.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Garza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 16 is to purchase a commercial mower for the wastewater department. Commissioners, I got a request from the wastewater department supervisor that now with the new sewage treatment plant and all the rain that's come down the last few weeks, it is a large site. They have just a regular residential mower that is.
Judge, were we gonna include this in some of the excess funds?
I don't think it was approved for that. You were gonna
Okay.
try.
We tried, but it wasn't approved.
Yeah, right.
So this will be coming out of where, non-department or their?
Non-department, you're looking about $9,000 for a commercial mower.
So we're doing it out of non-department?
Non-department.
Motion move.
I'll second, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Garza, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 17 is to hire temporary assistants for 3 months for Justice of the Peace Precinct 4, Judge Benavides. Judge, good morning, Judge.
Morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Yes, I was just requesting if, I requested your office if I could get a full-time,
Temporary full-time.
Norberto was asking for one, and I was asking for another one full-time.
Okay.
These are, summers, like students, but they're in summer right now, so.
So this would be a full, part-time? How many hours a day or?
I think it's gonna be a part-time.
We can't do the 8 hours because that'll get us into the benefit packages and,
Regular benefits.
yes.
Okay.
So we can do 4 hours,
Yeah.
20 hours,
I think they're, Norberto has.
That's what I have right now, it's a 4-hour job.
do 4 hours.
Okay. So-
I'll make a motion to approve it for 4 hours,
4 hours, okay.
Where are we
For how
paying?
many
for 3 months.
Where are we paying this out of, or?
Well, we're just showing that we're $3 million gonna be, have a $3 million deficit, so.
And this is for what, Mr. Ramirez?
Summer jobs for the kids, I mean,
We did,
recently, there was an accident and I was, trying to help out because, my secretary had an incident in her house and.
there's no
So
doubt.
it would be, does she have, if she doesn't have any more hours left, then we can take it out of that same line item.
Okay.
Does that make
Because
sense?
I know the county clerk brought in a summer intern
Yeah.
also, but the county clerk's paying out of her.
Records management.
Record
So we can do it like
management.
that, if she doesn't have any hours, then, to be off, then we can pay it off of there also. We've done that before.
From the same line item?
Yeah.
Gave,
Out of that same
She's still
line.
getting
paid.
She's still getting paid.
Okay.
I
from
mean, I don't
from
have a
that-
problem with it, I just think we need to specify where it's gonna be paid out.
And what's so how much is the total? I mean, you're probably talking $800 a month? And
How much would she
what's
get,
her-
how much would this person get paid?
Part-timer?
You know,
At our minimum
A
is
minimum.
$9? So 9 times 20, 180, 360, 720.
$800 per month.
It's just gonna be
Yeah, about-
just lots, I mean, from Commissioner Garza.
About $1,000 a month.
It's about 1,400 a month.
1,400 a month with 20 hours?
20 hours.
20 times 9 is 180,
So it's-
360, 720.
360 times
It's at
8.
$800 max.
About 3,000, sorry,
Total.
Oh, total.
For the
total
3 months.
summer.
for the summer.
For the summer.
For the 3 months.
Isn't there any other programs, Judge, that there's, I know that some lady from Laredo had called me, I forgot completely her name and number, that they offer summer jobs to those kids that qualify.
Judge, what about if we go try the Avenue? I know they reached out to me from Workforce,
Yeah, it's workforce.
that they have some funds available for summer or for.
I don't know,
Would
they
be the
have
case.
to
I
call.
mean,
That would be the
that's-
best.
That's
that's
good.
what I look into.
I mean, if we're the half of the month, I mean, the school is gonna start, by then, I know it's just gonna be, how many months, not even 3 months, I guess.
Now,
No, it's gonna be about 2 months.
so,
Yeah.
of course,
We're in a-
these are, as far as records, these are, sensitive records of the JP's office. Is there any limitations on what a person can do, or?
Well, I guess it depends on the amount of access that individual can be having. If that individual's just answering phones, well, then they're limited to just clerical type work.
On that, we don't have a maintenance, we don't have a cleaning lady there, so they're gonna be doing that on that. And the park guard, the park too. So
Okay, so they're just gonna be.
cleaning up the park and the.
Yeah, but that's Commissioner Gatz's position.
Yeah, right.
No, we're talking about your position.
Yeah, one is coming from him, one is coming from me, so.
Yeah, but they're not commingled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not commingled.
They're just part-timer.
If we're gonna take out a line item, it would be out of that same, administrative assistant line item, and it would go over.
Well, there's a motion in a
And
second.
Judge, you don't have any monies in your budget. I know when I hire part-times, I pay out of our budget.
We can do the cleaning on Mondays and twice a week, the office for Commissioner Garza.
You're doing that currently?
We can start doing it. If we want.
I think for the amount of traffic the office has, I think that should work.
And that's what you wanted for the cleaning?
Whatever, fighting and everything, I mean, just for the summer, I mean, it's gonna be less than 3 months. 2 months and a half tops, maybe.
You already have somebody in mind?
Yes, there are 2 kids from school, they're gonna go back to school, so it's just summer job.
They start school, what, the first week of August?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yep.
And we're at the middle of the month right now.
Second week of August.
So,
Maybe about a month.
Maybe about a month.
A month
a
and
month and a
2
half
weeks.
or so, or 2
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, I guess we could do that, we could just take it out of the administrative assistant line
And then,
item.
and then multiply by 4, cause if we do it for one, then the other 3 are gonna want one also, so. That's what it comes down to.
Well, they haven't asked yet. One person has, so that's the decision before the court.
We heard, our
It's
treasurer.
a dominant.
We have a motion.
First come, first served.
We got a motion and a second, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, let's move on. Item, number 18 is to approve the opening of Zapata Community Center.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Garza. When is the date, Commissioner?
Effective today.
Today.
Is this just a community center or the pavilion also?
Everything.
Is all of them?
Everything.
Can we start like immediately?
Yeah.
I would say so.
I would, you know, and of course, we heard the treasurer's report, but the community center on the pavilion, you know, also, is in need of some repairs, especially the floors.
Judge, the San Ignacio one?
Yeah, they're all in need of repair, but, community center, I think we may have to fix some of the flooring. I know some of the tiles have, floor tiles are missing, so there's some need of repair, but, so, but we'll, I guess we'll try to work on those repairs, make sure that we make it presentable to the public. I know we did the exterior. The interior's nice, but there's some needs on the flooring. Okay. Got a motion and a second to open the community center immediately. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion
Judge, and that
carried.
includes the pavilion?
The pavilion.
That's all facilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, all facilities.
Then the motion has to reflect that, Judge,
Yeah,
for all.
Okay, I'll modify my motion just to reflect all county facilities, all rental, Zapata County rental facilities.
Okay.
Yep. Second.
Item number 19 is to request approval for $120,000 for food for both facilities for the remainder of the fiscal year 2020-2021 year. Sheriff, yes, the sheriff called me on it. We, in this year's budget, because of the pandemic, we had, and basically for 8 months or 6-8 months, we had a few prisoners in both facilities. We had budgeted a much lower amount than we normally do. Since then, the last few months, the sheriff has brought in prisoners, so both facilities are They're about full, and yeah, we didn't, I didn't budget enough, as for the food line item.
Is
The
this,
fact-
is this number based on what you've been spending a month
Yes.
so far?
That would cut us.
This is
like,
only for about
even.
2 months?
Correct. That would cut us like even for the remainder of the year on the ordering of food. Cause we've been working with, by, let's say, rationalizing and calorie intake and stuff as least, Mr. Martinez and Moreno are the ones that help me out in the food order. And we're looking at the different companies weekly. And whatever's best for the inmates and is cost effective for the department, that's where we order every week. So that's why we vary from food vendor to food vendor per week, but that's an average amount for the remainder of the year.
For the year?
So,
For the next
yeah,
3 months?
looking at, the budget analysis, beginning in, I guess, March is when we started getting prisoners in. Before then, the monthly, amount was about $7,000 to $8,000 of food for the regional jail, which would have been the 100,000, would have been, okay for what we had. Since then, you're averaging about
This is-
13,000 to 15,000, so, I think for the remaining 4 months, maybe 60 to 70,000, Sheriff.
We can get down to 70, and then, but you might have to see me again,
Okay.
Well,
let's do that, do it on.
And I remember during the budget process, Judge, that we discussed this about having a lower budget for it, but as he got more,
Yeah.
inmates,
That's right.
we were gonna visit it.
Judge, I'll make a motion that we allocate $70,000 to the sprawl food line item, and then we'll play it by ear every month, we'll revisit it, and if you're falling short again, Sheriff, we'll supplement the line item.
I appreciate
Motion by
it.
Commissioner Mendoza.
70?
Approve
70,000.
70,000, seconded by Commissioner Solis. Any discussion? Of course, this will come from our fund balance to augment, those two line items for both the regional jail. I guess you can split it up any way you want to, Sheriff.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 20 is to request approval to go out for bids for the repairs of 25 showers and toilets, including floors and walls, for the regional jail to meet requirements for the next jail inspection. The sheriff did call me last week on this, and the need, of course, that facility is aging. I don't believe we've actually done any work on showers.
This is
and toilets before.
the first time, Judge, that that's ever been done other than when it was built the first time.
Motion move.
Second.
It's okay, so we'll go out for
Go
bid.
for bid.
Do you know when the next jail inspection is, Sheriff?
Right now, well, I did get a call that they were in the Valley area, so it can be at any moment. As long as we initiate that we're doing the
We
process.
show that we're moving forward with it?
Yeah,
That is
so
correct.
I think the sheriff said, well, can I bring in a contractor? Said, well, I think it'll be over the minimum bid limit, so
Yeah.
let's go out for bids on this.
Sheriff, are you saying that those funds from the state would be able to reimburse retroactively?
There's a possibility, there's a good likelihood that these
It will.
improvements would be
Okay.
reimbursable.
Just fine.
Nothing definite, but we're gonna try to make sure that.
Well, bottom line, we have to be in compliance
Yes.
with the state.
Yeah.
so.
I'll second the
Did you get the motion in a second?
Got it.
Solis?
Garza Solis.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 21 is to request $72,700 to cover expenses incurred by both jails in repairs to facilities to maintain compliance during the pandemic.
With this, Judge, all the 3 pumps at the regional jail that dissolve waste, food, everything, they all went out at the same time. I consulted with the county attorney, and I was able to do all these adjustments and be in compliance, because they come in here often with the marshals and the state. So this was taken out of the emergency account from the commissary. But this needs to be at a level where those funds need to be there all the time for emergency expenditures. So all this happened, and I had to fix them without bothering the commissioner's court ASAP. We were going through the freeze, through the pandemic and all this other stuff. But in order for us to be able to absorb these inmates and make revenue, this was the expense that we had to incur.
So can this wait until the new budget?
It can, but as long as you guys are aware that, you know, that needs to be.
The commissary fund needs to be reimbursed.
Yeah,
Yes.
reimbursed.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll put it in the budget, so we can, give her the treasurer's
Yes,
report.
yes, I understand.
Okay.
And I'm willing to play ball here, but,
Okay.
you know, in order for us to make money, we gotta spend money and fix our stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we table this, or,
I motion to reimburse him with the new budget.
okay, that'll be my motion to.
Second.
Then we put into the new budget and reimburse their commissary account.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Garza. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Item number 22 is to request approval of $529,854.44 to purchase 10 patrol units for the Zapata County Sheriff's Office fleet. You know, the sheriff, of course, we've had conversations about his patrol units and the need. I think initially we needed 4, then we went up to 6. And now because of all the heavy traffic that we're doing, stops, we're up to 10.
And it's embarrassing because I have 4 at Mr. Torres' yard where I'm switching out parts. I'm trying to do as much as I can with what we have.
Well, yeah.
But
I think that the main thing is we want our patrol officers to be safe.
I wanna protect them.
Sure.
It's their office, it's
We
their
had,
secretary.
and we have, the commissioners have been, pouring for about on a yearly basis. The hiccup this year was, of course, we lost a lot of value, for the 2020, lost, significant value. We had still, even without the purchase of patrol cars, we had a $2 million deficit in the budget. We had been hopeful that, some of the forfeiture funds through the DA, which he had promised, to help us with Zapata County, that hasn't come, through yet, and I'm still waiting, for him. He tells me it's still happening, but I don't think we can wait any longer. I did tell the sheriff, look, let's order these, if we can, the court approves these units, and, the court may be going out for certificate of obligation,
That's
in
what
the
I
near
was gonna say,
future.
Judge, if we could include it in the certificate.
I make a
of
motion to
obligation.
approve
I'll
it.
second the
Yeah,
motion.
motion by Commissioner, Gatsa, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza,
I've
so
actually
we can
seen
order
those
them.
units that-
Yes, one thing I may add, Judge, and I looked into it already. As long as we have a PO already in place with this company that I got a quote, we will get 2022 units for the pricing of the 2021 available. And we need to do it.
Are these, are they Tahoe, Sheriff? Or
Yes,
are
they're
they-
they're Tahoes and some are pickup trucks, for the simple fact that we're gonna be going into the brush. We're four-wheel drive, and they're gonna be all access to the.
I've actually
all terrain.
seen those units at Becca's, and that is kind of embarrassing.
that's
You switch
embarrassing.
Parts from one to another, from this one to that one, so they're very well.
Well,
done.
I think we're being, proactive, or useful, I mean, we're
Well,
getting
Judge,
every.
and the mere fact that he mentioned that, to battle the border crisis, Judge, the fact that he's getting 4x4s, fit right into what the emergency funds are.
Right.
So I think there's a good likelihood that these would be reimbursable also,
I believe
but,
so, Judge,
but
especially
now,
the 4x4.
we need to get them anyway, we need to have them, so.
They'll take a while. They give you a timeline on delivery?
It would be the first of the year.
Oh.
So
Now,
hopefully
Commissioners,
by then we'll have
just
some
a little heads up
presents.
on the certificates of obligation that we've been working on, and our audit is still not here. It's not in place, and of course, I'm speaking with our financial advisors, he's saying that there may be a chance that some banks would still, loan us the money, for what we want, but there's a good likelihood that they won't, because of the audit not being in place.
Why do we go through this every year?
I don't understand, it's certainly frustrating to me. I spoke with our consultant who helps us, and he, of course, told me some departments are not being, very helpful in providing the information he needs to complete the task of presenting all the material to our independent auditors. So our independent auditors still don't even have the material. So he's looking at, instead of a June, which we had hoped, August. And the problem that creates is, because of the way the legislature has, I guess, with certificates of obligation moving forward, beginning October 1st, they will require an election for certificates of obligation also.
Can't wait that long.
No, hombre.
Will that affect our grants also, Judge?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
that's
yes.
a high
Judge,
possibility,
can we
yes.
find out exactly who department is that?
We met with Mr. Flores.
Yeah.
And, just to clear that up, our department is on cue, Judge. We decided to do a face-to-face. He had some questions on some grants, which is the reimbursements on the way.
So
He
you're
wanted the
gonna be able
number.
to provide that?
Yes, he wanted the number, and as a matter of fact, the number was provided already to him. So what we did, we're doing drop boxes and line items for each grant, which, Ms. Figueroa and Mr. Peña, all three of us, weekly, we're gonna be meeting with him.
I think that's what's gonna
Yeah.
take, I was talking with the auditor, Mr. Gonzalez, that I mean, this is the same information that departments provide every year. And every year it
It's not
seems
rocket
that
science, yeah.
they wait till the last minute. And it creates problems because the auditors can't work on our audit if they don't have the information. And, so it's an ongoing problem. I did have a very, frank conversation with our consultant as to what the problem was. Cause it's a yearly thing, and it affects mainly your department, sure, because
Other
most of the
grants.
grants are coming to your department. If we can't access them, now, hopefully Parks and Wildlife, since they've been approved, but I'm sure the audit is gonna come into play.
He did address, Judge, that there was a change in the software, so they're familiarizing themselves with that software.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if he had that to you.
Yes, no, he did.
So I just told them, our software is different, so for it to synchronize, you have to tell us the drop boxes you want in your software, so we can just automatically input the funding and it'll give you the total.
And upload it.
Yes, so we fixed that already, Judge.
But he's
We're on the
looking
same-
at, the earliest, would be August, for our independent audit to be in place. We'll be delinquent again, and of course, grants will be a problem. I think funding could be a
Have
problem.
the
so-
departments that are lagging behind, have they been notified of the fact that they are in fact, haven't provided the necessary?
I told the auditor he needs to work on that, assign one of his assistants to do a weekly reminder beginning, I think in October, but January for sure, start reminding those departments.
And if we can assist, Judge, in any way to help, with the software, or inputting numbers or whatever, I'm willing to do that. That
I
way,
think
we won't get upset.
One of the problems we were having, according to our consultant, was that there's about 40 accounts, 40 checking accounts.
Oh.
And bank accounts. Nobody reconciles their bank accounts. He says he's having to reconcile every account every month. So it's a lot of work. I think going to one super account, which one operational account, will certainly help. But part of the problem is we're not reconciling accounts, so.
And that's pretty time consuming to reconcile.
Well, when there's 40, but that was part of the deal where Mr. Salinas is consolidating them into one.
Yeah.
So it's easier.
Yeah.
Supposed to be easier.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second and we voted, right?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to item number 23 is to request approval of $22,550 to purchase 30 bulletproof vests for Zapata County Sheriff's Office Patrol. A motion, we need the vest.
Motion moved.
That's something that would.
Motion moved.
Motion by Commissioner, second by Commissioner Elizondo.
Stone Garden?
No, they didn't approve for the.
Or rest, okay.
We need them, we need them.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Just for clarification, Judge, these bulletproof vests, they have shelf life, Judge.
Sure.
So they have to be replaced after X amount of years, so.
And of course, this is something that can be reimbursable as moving forward.
I'm keeping note of all that, Judge.
Okay.
There's a high likelihood this would be.
Yeah. Item number 24 is to adjust employee salaries on General Order 10-560.
It's actually, it's a typo, Judge, it's 561, and it's for the cooks to all be paid the same. There used to be a seniority type deal, that's how I had it scheduled, because one was in charge of more of the ordering and more of the, the prepping, but now everybody's the same, so I feel.
I think it'd be more appropriate, we usually don't change salaries mid-year. We allowed it when you were coming in, new elected officer, but normally they'll create problems with other departments wanting to come in and change salary schedule, so certainly in the budget proposal, we'll include everybody the same.
All right,
I'll make a motion to not table it, but
Yeah.
no action.
No action.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll take that on, in the budget process, Sheriff.
Thank you, Judge.
Item number 25, excuse me, to reschedule the next Commissioners Court meeting for Friday, June the 25th, 2021, due to the attendance of the
Motion moved.
87th Annual South Texas Judges and Commissioners Conference. Motion by Commissioner Solis,
Second.
second by Commissioner Garza. All those discussing, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 26 is to approve the use of the walking trail in front of the Falcon Lake Nursing Home for a health fair on July 15, 2021.
Motion moved.
Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Garza, second by Commissioner Mendoza. Nursing home, we certainly appreciate all the work they do for our community. They need
struggling right
some
now.
new residents that come into the community. Speaking with their accountant, almost on a weekly basis. They need help recruiting, new residents to the nursing home. They've been, very frank with me that if their, actual numbers don't go up in the near future, they may be forced to close the nursing home, and that would certainly be a very difficult, problem for Zapata, since being that they're the only one, so, urge the public,
Well, even the assisted living facilities, Judge, are hurting as well. Those apartment complexes that lease out to
Yeah.
assisted living individuals, they're hurting as well for tenants, so I think it's.
A lot of it is the pandemic. Families are just scared to put their loved one in those facilities, but hopefully we can move and help them out. They are trying to recruit new residents, but they are having problems. We have a motion to second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We got consent items, Commissioner. We got a street light and some line item transfers.
Judge, the only thing that, Mr. Salinas said something about 33.
33.
Yeah.
That's environmental?
Yeah.
You have fuel, line item 5,000.
He doesn't wanna-
He mentioned that, the fuel, they've only reconciled until January, so they're still a little behind on the months for all departments.
So if we could just
might
table
not-
it, or, because he wasn't sure if there was enough money there to be able to do that.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve from, 29 to 32.
Okay.
Second.
Motion, by Commissioner Garza to approve from items 29 to 32, seconded by Commissioner Solis. And then you want to table item 33?
I'll make a motion to table it for further discussion.
Okay.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Solis. Motion by Commissioner Garza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor? Is Martin still here?
No, he took off,
What, is he not gonna have any fuel? Or what does he need? No, he needs to.
Repairs and
Repairs
maintenance.
and
Oh,
maintenance.
gonna have
I'll talk
to
to
fix
him.
something.
Yeah, so basically, they don't know if there's enough fuel to cover his usage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For him to transfer.
And
I
all
think
of-
he's been, having trouble repairing his dump
Equipment.
trucks. I think that's what-
Join the club.
Yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'll make a motion to go to
Yeah,
section.
but
Judge.
not-
Resolutions and proclamations to support and participate in the South Texas Development Council and confirming the appointment of representatives from the Zapata County,
Who's
from the County of Zapata, Texas, to serve on the board of directors of the South Texas Development Council for a period of October 1st, 2020 to September 2021.
Who serves on this board?
I'm on the board, Commissioner. I think Commissioner Elizondo?
Garza.
No,
Garza.
Garza.
You're on the board? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Garza, second by Commissioner Mendoza. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And I will make a motion to go to executive session.
Motion to enter into executive session, by Commissioner Garza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. The items can be heard are item number 35, to approve seller's asking price and terms on earnest money contract for the acquisition of the Savannah Golf Course, closed session, executive session requested pursuant to Texas Government Code Title 5, Chapter D, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney. And item number 36 is to discuss and take action regarding the hire of the nutrition center position as per the recommendation of the committee. Closed session is requested pursuant to Texas Government Code Title 5, Subchapter D, Section 551.074, personnel matters. We're now in executive session.
Happy birthday, Commissioner.
Happy birthday. Ya está pagado. Ya está pagado todo.
No, hold on.
Do we have a check for deal where?
Bam.
So, we're good.
Almost over here.